Verbally Effective with Ina Esco is an interview-style podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. Each week, I'm joined by a featured guest with roots in Memphis. Verbally Effective delves into each guest's personal journey to uncover the incredible stories fueling their purpose, the highs and lows of their pursuits, and how through their passion, they are moving the culture forward. Be sure to follow Verbally Effective and Ina Esco on Instagram. Also, download the Verbally Effective podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play Music. Don't forget to check out the website and submit to be a guest at verballyeffective.com. Greetings, and welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast. I am your host, your double E, Ina Esco. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Verbally Effective Podcast. This is actually episode 213. Yes, applause. You know what? Before we get started, I want to send a huge shout out to the consortium, MMT, and my team, Ari the Genius, Patrick, Morel, and Brandon. Look, we're going to jump right in because this is actually the first Verbally Effective podcast short. And what I mean by that is with my guest today, the next time you see us, we are going to be on a full client tour with this beautiful young lady. And that young lady is a stylist. She has styled, some of favorite celebrities. And she's also the founder of Styled by LD. She's the co-owner of Beg and Borrow Apparel. I am talking about Lauren Draffin. How are you, beautiful?
Hi, Ina. Great. How are you?
I am lovely. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
You know what? I've been following you on social media quite some time, and you have styled. And when I say styled, baby, you know what you're doing. So I said I have to get her on the podcast to see, how she know all about this and that and, these circles you're in. So let's start at the beginning. Lauren, where are you from originally in Memphis?
So I am Memphis born and bred, grew up in Raleigh.
Raleigh,
okay. Yes, till about 6th grade. Then family moved out to Germantown before it was developed like it is. Mm-hmm. And then my family's still out there. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Are you an only child?
No, that's a loaded question.
Okay.
So I'm adopted, but
okay.
So I've met biological siblings and family, but I was raised with 2 younger siblings, so there was 3 of us.
Okay. And
all adopted.
Wow. Quick question. Did you love fashion back then?
I am a tomboy. My daddy got me, he was like, I thought we were adopting a girly girl. So he had to put his little touch. This is my dad loves fashion. So,
wow,
I've played sports forever, but he got me into fashion around like early teens. And then my first job in fashion was 16.
16, where?
At Indigo.
Indigo.
Mm-hmm.
Did you love?
I loved it. I still give Indigo and the owners so much credit and props for training correctly. Like, there's things I learned there that it's useful today.
Like, what's top 2?
I would say working from like bottom up. I mean, we clean the toilets, the floorboards, sizing denim. There's a specific fold. There's a fold for men. There's a fold for women. Finger spacing. Just like literally. I mean, if you're standing still on the retail floor, something's wrong. Okay. There's always something to do.
Details.
Yeah. And accountability. They were really great about accountability. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So what high school did you attend?
So I went to a tiny private Christian high school, evangelical Christian school.
Oh, did you love?
I mean, I don't really know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. It was great. It was educationally, it was great. So academically, I played soccer. Soccer was my sport. Okay. We had a great soccer team. It was great. It was great. I was there just for high school, so 9th through 12th.
Gotcha. And after high school, what happened?
After high school, I got an academic scholarship to University of Alabama. Roll Tide.
Okay, Roll
Had to try out that SEC a little bit.
Yes.
So I love some good football, and I was there for 3 years. So 3 my junior year, and then had a little too much fun.
Much fun. What was your major over there?
Fashion merchandising. Okay, so their fashion program is nationally ranked. I don't know if it is now at all, but it was then. So I knew fashion was my deal. Went there, too much fun. Came back to Memphis, and then graduated and moved to New York.
Okay,
Yeah.
New York. Okay, I want to spend a little time
Mm-hmm.
on New York because we know New York is the fashion capital of the world.
Girl.
What exactly were you doing in New York? And tell me what did you learn that stuck with you the most while there?
Okay. Okay, so my senior year at Memphis, I took your senior year at University of Memphis. You take your internships, and so I was fortunate enough to take one in New York. So my parents were like, "This is what you want to do. We will get you up. We'll pay for you to be there, but like, girl, work." My parents were very much that way. There wasn't a handout. It was, here's something shiny, like, now get to work.
What are you going to do?
Yeah. Which is great. That's my work ethic totally is partially come from that. So I get to New York for an internship. I took 2 internships just to fill my time. I didn't know anybody up there. So I was there like December through graduation, came back, graduated, and moved back. I guess graduation's May? Moved back in July. So when I moved back, I was a sales rep for a multi-line showroom. So I represented 9 brands, and I was basically the liaison between the retailer, the buyer, and the brand or the designer manufacturer.
Gotcha.
So I was in New York about 3 years doing that. With that showroom and then another showroom. And then my third job there was with a startup tech and fashion company, which was super cool. Super
sounds cool.
It was cool. It was taking, just in a nutshell, it was taking trade shows and just the whole process. The fashion industry is operated the same way. I mean, this is cuckoo. The same way since the beginning. You buy 6+ months in advance for whatever delivery that is, and then it's, you budget for it. So when that delivery comes around, you a lot of times you're like, oh, I totally forgot that this is what, you forget. It's like Christmas. And then, but it's been that way for forever. So we were essentially taking that online,
Gotcha.
which was cool.
Oh,
and
wow.
then, I was there for that last gig about 6 months. Bought a French bulldog, got a raise, bought a French bulldog. Contract was completely reneged, and I was like,
Oh, wait.
yeah. Just moving up there, and then came back.
So, how did you begin Styled by LD?
So,
Your baby.
yes, it kind of, what's cool is that it just organically, it just happened. When I came back to Memphis, I was buying for a high-end retailer that no longer has a women's department, but it did at the time. And I was in that buying position, super cool. It wasn't a good fit for me. I was super contemporary, like straight off the boat from New York. Like I was like,
Yeah.
let's go.
You knew what was hip,
Yeah,
too. Like,
I knew
what
these
was going
brands.
on.
I mean, when I was in New York, we also had a permanent showroom in Atlanta. So like Southeast was my territory as well as international accounts. So I mean, my influences were. It was. So, I mean, I was thriving.
Yeah.
Just completely changed my trajectory. And then being back here, it was just it was I had to adjust. So that job was not a good fit. I was there for 6-7 months, and then met my business partner Monty Stewart, who at the time had started his own men's custom clothing company. So that was kind of the shift in buying for women's retail. Then started doing men's custom clothing. I'm sure there were a couple of jobs in there. I think I was like an executive assistant somewhere just to like stack that cash for a minute.
Okay, get the money. But you know what I think is so cool about you? You not only style women, you style men too. And I feel like that has to have a certain eye. From a fashion perspective.
It's I very much stay in my lane. But I go in on the research. Because there's so many different moving parts within the fashion industry. I mean, ultimately it's the creative industry, but there's also architecture, entertainment. Everything's visual. And I think kind of figuring out, I don't know if it's a fine line or if it's just kind of branding yourself as for me, with the men specifically, it's a fit thing, you know? Like, let's not compete against ourselves because our clothes are wearing us. We need to be wearing our clothes.
Okay.
You know, the second that that you start serving your wardrobe and it's not serving you, I mean, there could be a numerous reasons. You have too much, it's the fit's off, the color's wrong for your skin tone, you know. You're big into labels when you really should start with some basic wardrobe essentials.
Okay, say that again.
Like, quit with the wasting the money. You know, like let's be a little bit more sustainable. How about get something, go in on that investment and wear it 3 different ways?
But you
know?
Do like a few labels, or
I
no?
do, absolutely.
You
I am like queen of mixing high and low.
Okay. High and low. That's a nice balance.
I mean, I rolled up with a backpack today.
Okay.
But I got those Prada sneaks on.
Yes. See, fashion. You know.
It works for me. I have to do what works for me. And that's what I love about styling is it's really an intimate process. And I have to be super open-minded and open to every individual because not one is the same, literally. Not one is. I mean, I've seen weird things. I've seen it all. But you have to be able to come up with a solution and serve that to your client in order for it to be valuable, you know? Paying clients that's what pays my bills.
And that's what you do. That's what you
it.
do. You are, one of the biggest stylists here. And I would say beyond as well, because your name carries around this motherfucker.
I love it. I'm like, can we say fuck?
Yeah, we can say
cool.
fuck. We
Say
can say less. Okay.
Thank you.
LD, this is what I want you to do. I want you to let everybody with the verbally effective audience know how they can be styled by LD and also how they can partake in beg and borrow apparel.
Okay, cool. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm busy on Instagram, and that's just Styled by LD, styled past tense. Beg and Borrow is the brand that my partner Monty and I started in 2020. We officially launched it, and Beg and Borrow Apparel.
Yes.
I have a website, styledbyld.com. We have begandborrowapparel.com. You might see me pop up occasionally on a couple retail partner social media outlets.
Just a little pop-up, here and there.
I have to stay relevant. So,
yes.
you'll see my hand in a couple things. Same with University of Memphis.
Yes, University of Memphis.
Yeah.
You're teaching the students.
I am. I'll
Give
be
me a
back
little bit
this
about
fall.
that before we.
Okay.
Then we go.
I started my first semester. First of all, I am off the record, not qualified to be a teacher.
I think you are.
I want them to live. They're the future of Memphis creative community.
Exactly.
Like that generation. And there's so much to be learned from them. So if I can, in fact, open doors and then whoever it is make their own relationships, like let's, that's.
I think you're the one to do it.
I just want to be the plug. So
look, how can they sign up for your class when they're choosing their?
So it's Intro to Fashion. So I typically have a lot of freshmen and sophomores. It's about a 25 kid class. I teach fall and spring, and I don't really know how they would find me through University. I don't even know that much.
Intro to Fashion.
Intro to Fashion.
That's the class. That's what they need to sign up for.
Yes, I'll be back teaching. My last semester teaching was spring 2020, right when COVID hit. So it was it was weird, but I'm ready. I'm ready to be back. I'm ready to contribute again, and Memphis is ready.
Memphis is ready.
Ready.
You're still here in Memphis with your business. You want to see it grow and thrive. What would you like to see different in Memphis?
I would love to see the creative industry bring the city of Memphis together like John Morant does.
Oh, yes. Now we could do it like that.
The talent the city has is silly. There's the money in this town is silly.
It's here.
Let's put it back in.
Yes.
And let's, together literally just, give people credit where credit's due. Yeah. And that is the bigger picture. And when we have our next day in the life of, I can give you some more insight on that.
Well, that
you might have to sign a little NDA or something.
I was sign it. You know what, LD? I have
ideas.
Really enjoyed you. And like you said, the next time we're together, we'll be on location with a client, seeing you do your thing.
Cool.
And the verbally effective audience can witness how you do what you do, right?
Cool. I love that.
I love it. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you for
me
having
today.
Me. Can I give you something before we
you
leave?
Sure can.
I brought you a little beg and borrow piece.
Ah, yes.
It matches your
Cute.
earring.
Yes, it does. This is me, too.
So this is custom bag and borrow. It's
This
a little
is gorgeous.
covered lacket.
I love it.
You can do it
I love
open
it.
with a little
Yes.
tube
you know
and
I'ma rock
high-waisted. Yeah, little black
Yes.
shorts. Thigh meet season. You can roll it. You can wear it over a bathing
this
suit.
Is so cute.
Tie
Thank
it.
you, LD.
Yes.
I love.
Yes, yes, yes.
Don't be having me crying with my lashes on today.
Just
LD.
sprinkling the love around. Thank you for having me. I've
Thank
loved
you
that.
so much. I can't wait for part 2.
Me too.
Of the Verbally Effective on Location with Lauren Draffin, styled by LD. Beg and borrow apparel. You guys better tune in if you're not already. She is going to style you from head to toe, baby. And thanks again for tuning in to yet another episode of the Verbally Effective podcast. Be sure to subscribe on all streaming platforms and also the YouTube channel, Ina Esco YouTube channel as well. See you guys next week.